Hello. So I want to talk about Final Fantasy VI because this game just became easier to mod than ever. A couple of weeks ago, a new mod package was released that collected 577 different mods into like a single installer, which makes the modding process very easy. And yeah, this is also for the old Steam version, which is like if you're willing to mod it, probably the best version of the game because it has all of the extra content from the GBA version, like the Dragon's Den, the extra espers, and all of that. It's also 320p resolution, which is the highest resolution of any version of this game, which makes it very possible to do a lot of things graphically that you can't do on other versions. There's lots of different sprite mods for this one. Like I said, just really popular version for people who like to make mods for this game because the higher pixel density allows for things to be done on this version of the game that you can't do in other versions. And that just makes it a very interesting one for mods. And yeah, there's all kinds of different options, and we're going to be going through those. The only downside of this version is that Square Enix delisted it from their web store in May of 2023, so it's not available for purchase anymore, though you can still acquire it by other means if you know where to look. I won't be providing you links though. So the first thing you need to do is go to Nexus Mods and find the Atma Weapon multi-mod for Final Fantasy VI. I'll have a link directly to this page in the description of this video to make it easy for you. But yeah, once you're there, you just need to download it. Like I said, this is a new version of the old package. This one was from June 14th, 2026, literally just a couple of weeks ago. And this replaces the old one from 2020. Like I said, there is a lot more options in this one. Like I said, 577 mods in this one compared to the old one, which only had 88 mods. So there is a lot of options on this one. And yeah, we'll get into that. But pretty much though, after you're done downloading it, you just need to extract the folder, and then once you have extracted, just open it, and you'll see this. You should see, so this has an application called Atma Weapon. Just left click on that, open it. You'll see like a little preparing thing. It'll just say preparing, and it'll open. You can select a preset, and depending on how you're, like I said, a lot of times it'll probably ask you to find your Final Fantasy VI install. But let's just click on the area. Yeah, so it just wants you to find the directory. So wherever you have, for most of you, this is going to be your Steam folder. But if it's not, like I said, just find it wherever it is. And then once you found the directory, just hit confirm. And then, okay, and then you go back here and then you can select your presets. So there's 3 presets. There's Remastered, and then there's Classic. Classic pretty much tries to make it closer to the SNES version, the Super Nintendo version, whereas Remastered, this mostly uses assets from the Brave Steel mod. So yeah, if you hit Remastered, the default, you got this screen here. You got all the Brave Steel sprites plus some alts. Most of these are Brave Steel. These are based on an old mobile game. Final Fantasy mobile game. So they're, like I said, there's a lot more detailed than what you would normally see in a Final Fantasy VI game, because other versions of Final Fantasy VI are all lower resolution. This mod, particularly these Brave Steel ones, take advantage of the significantly higher pixel count of this one to have these really high detailed sprites. And obviously, if you go look at the sprite section, you see how this says there's overrides and stuff. You have alternatives. So this one's a Grand Villas one. You can change this here. There's all these other alternates. If you're doing Brave Steel, you probably want to stick with Brave Steel because otherwise you'll have some inconsistencies. PSP style, actually, the PSP style ones are kind of fun too. That's a whole nother set there. And I think there's a whole PSP set in here too, which for whatever reason you can't choose as a preset, but maybe there's some that are missing. But you can see right, that's a whole set there. I actually kind of like that PSP one too. I actually like the PSP more than the Brave Steel. If you want different high quality, different another one. Yeah, so there isn't a PSP one for this, but it's cyan. Who cares about cyan, right? But you see, if you go like the recolor, if you go no override, no override because we're on the thing. But if you go some of these others, they obviously don't mesh. So you probably want to try to keep similar styles there. Yeah, not all of them have PSPs. That's the only down. That's probably why there's not a selection. Be nice if they all had previous PSPs, because the PSPs, I actually do like the PSP ones a lot. Personally, I think they're better. I personally like them better than Brave Steel, but they're not. It's a complete set. But yeah, pretty much you can go through one by one. I would definitely recommend trying to keep similar style. If you're doing Brave Steel, you probably don't want to mix in a lot of these default ones with it. But yeah, we're just going to turn all these to no override though, so I can kind of show you the different defaults sets here. But yeah, so this is the Brave Still. This is the default Brave Still. There's the classic SNES if you like classic SNES. There's default. These are the ones that are designed, like these are the ones that come with the Steam version. These are the ones that Kazuko Shibuya herself made. She's the one who created all the character designs. Like that's her name in the credits right at the beginning as the character designer. And it's Amano. His art is based on her sprite designs, not the other way around. Yeah, but this sprite set they made for Steam though is the closest we've ever got to like her original like sprite concept. This is closest to her vision we've ever got in a Final Fantasy 6 game. So I actually really like these sprites because they are her vision. Like you have the AWR, which again makes Tina blonde, but again kind of maintains this art style, but kind of gives you different color palettes. And then there's the nostalgia pack, which is my personal favorite of these sprite sets, like the full like defaults. Like this is generally the one I play with just because it maintains Shibuya's art style. It stays true to Shibuya's art style, but also like adding a bit more detail to some of these sprites, making them a bit, right, some of them have some extra details, like you see the headband on Celeste a bit more detailed. So I like this one a lot. This is my favorite one. Just choose whichever one you like. Like, so if you like Brave Still, absolutely do that one. Because again, those are really detailed and you can't really, like I said, that's one of the advantages of this version is you can have these really highly detailed sprites that you really can't in any other version. But if I was going to play, like I'd usually go NOS. There's like an alternate version of Tina that has the cape. It's like said, so this is, you have a cape on her. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same here rather than the blonde version. But you can have a blonde. Like I said, we talked about the PSP. That would probably look good if you're using Brave Still. You could probably mix the PSPs with Brave Still. But like this is what I would do. Celeste, I mean, I like I said, that one, no, where's the one? I like this version of Celeste too. This one, I like this one as well. Block, there's, this one's fun. I like that one. Recolor, that one's fun. But like, I think that just as default's fine. Like, I think both of those are fine. But like, even this one's fine. Like, honestly, probably the other one I'm okay, like said, I would probably change is that one. Maybe Shadow. Actually, there's an edgy Shadow. I like edgy Shadow. He's just darker. That one's fun. And I do like on the Tina, like the PSP one, I actually do like I think the PSP works with this art set just fine, where it just fine, doesn't look too out of place. And there's Super Tina, which just again gives her the blonde. If you just like wanted her to be blonde, just like super Tina. It's like Super Saiyan gives her the super blonde hair. I think is the whole idea, but these are both fine. But PSP, actually I like the PSP. It's esper Tina, so I think that's fine. And then you can make Umaro different things. You can make him an interceptor. The Brave Still makes him very furry. I'd probably just stick no override here. But like this is what I would do personally. But the Brave Still is totally worth looking at. And then, so this is another important theme. So the sprite section, this is going to be the rest of the sprites. The first page is the main cast. The second page is going to be like all the world sprites. And the default, whatever it's set here is going to be based on what you select on the first page by default. Since we select nostalgia on the first page, this page goes to nostalgia, though some of the overrides, because we start at the remaster, is still the Brave Still. So you might want to change some of these back. Like Kefka, you probably want to change them back here. The soldiers, because see, look at the soldier, that would be look a bit out of place for the townsfolk, right? Like you got the scholar here, look, that would be a bit out of place, wouldn't it, compared to these other sprites? So you might want to change that to be consistent here. The airship, you can go with any of these on any version. They're just really just color changes. I think they're all fine. Magitech armor, they said the beast mode, that is kind of looks more like the Amano art style. There's no override. This is what the default sprite looks like. And then there's actually another one. This one I think looks really cool. Like on, like if you're just doing like the older sprites, I actually like this one a lot. I think this one's fine. And then you have like these statues. This is the default one. There's this one here. The Brave Still is actually pretty much the same as the other one, just a bit different, but just a bit more color to it. And then for whatever, there's this one that has a lot more color to it, which I don't really like. I'd probably just either go, you can go, that Brave Still Classic is fine. I'd probably go this one, depending on my mood. But that's probably what I'd go with. But yeah, like if you're interested, there's, like I said, you could do the classic SNES there. You can do, again, the Brave Still, which makes everything look everybody looks, like I said, very high res. You get the high res sprites for the townsfolk. Again, don't mix and match though. Like if you're doing Brave Still, For like your main characters, you probably want to do Brave Still for the townsfolk. Otherwise, that art style clash would look pretty weird. Same thing with the classic SNES. You probably want to do classic SNES for all of it. Otherwise, it will look pretty out of place. I'm just gonna be honest. Try to stay consistent. Pick which one you think is gonna go well for you. Like I said, we're gonna do nostalgia here for this. And yeah, we'll go next. And these are battle portraits. So the default looks like this. And the Brave Still is kind of like a higher res, bit more westernized versions of the mono arts that you get for the defaults. There's a World Reborn, which only changes 3 of these portraits. It's like, that's why I only shows 3. It only shows you the ones changed. Otherwise, you get the defaults for the rest. Nostalgia changes most of them slightly. Again, kind of like the sprites are changed slightly. Alternate, I actually like this one a lot. I just wish it was a full set and changed all of them to be a matching style. But I do like this one a lot because I think these ones are cute. This one, Claudia's cool. I really like this one a lot too, especially like Realm. Realm looks so cool in this one. Like, look at Realm there. I like Realm. Realm's my fave though, so. But I like this one a lot. I think this is a pretty good one. Again, the AWR alts, it's kind of like this one, but this one changes like everything slightly. But the World Reborn makes Tina blonde, so then we talked about the Brave Still. This is fine. There's the Brave Still alts. This is Tina blonde for whatever reason. Remake style. I don't really like these sprites for whatever reason. I don't know. I just feel like they have like this uncanny valley feel to some of them. And I just, not too fond of them. But some people like them. It's an option. The Omnia ones, I like these ones too. The World Reborn gives you Blonde Tina. Nostalgia gives you, like I said, I think the Nostalgia Pack one is just fine. This is a great one too. We'll go with this one for now because it's a full set. Then you have the battle sprites. These are down here. So the default one looks like this. They're just front facing, which looks cool. Like I said, that's fine. The default. You have the artworks here. If you just want, like, this is the, like this, I think this is like the SNES artwork. No, this is World Reborn artwork. Then you have front facing sprites. These have a border on them. Classic SNES front facing sprites. Those all have a border. Mono artwork. Yeah. Okay. This is the SNES artwork one. Oh, yeah, so it's a SNES artwork with blonde hair. That's what it is. Okay. All right, so yeah, there you go. NOS front-facing sprites. Again, these have like a box around them. These are just like the dialogue sprites, like the default dialogue sprites, but for battle mode, Brave Still battle sprites. Like, say, if you're doing Brave Still, this is what you'd want. Generally, if you're doing battle sprites, you kind of want to, like, if you're doing, like, the sprite ones, like, that are match your character sprites, you probably want to do it as a remake style. Like, these are, like, the remake portraits. Like the remake style portraits. That's what this one is. There's the AWR front face sprites with no background. And again, since we're doing nostalgia pack, we'd probably do this one. And then Edgar new look portraits. But yeah, we would be doing all of this one. But yeah, and then yeah, again, the monsters, you have a lot of options there. Default looks like that. Reworked is a bit more detailed, and the Brave Still completely redraws them, takes advantage of high pixel count, makes them way more detailed in a lot of cases. De-dithered is just that, de-dithered. Reworked, I think, is fine. Brave Still is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Brave Still a lot. But like I said, just really whichever one you want. They're both good. But it'd probably depend on my mood, which one I like more. I'm gonna go Brave Still today. Then you got the alternate golem. This is what golem looks like. Alternate golem looks like the ones from Final Fantasy X. We have alternate Umbaba and Death Gaze. I think I like the default more there. I think it's a default here. And then you have the Guardian Forces espers. So what this does, it pretty much as explained, replaces the espers with the Guardian Forces from Final Fantasy VIII. Like if you like the way they looked in Final Fantasy VIII more, well, there's an option for that if you liked that better. But I'd probably leave that off. And then you have some alternate Kefkas. So Kefka looks like this normally in the battle sprite, and you have some alternates. I'd probably just leave it default, but all of them look good. That's a personal preference. I'd probably just leave it off. But yeah, let's just go like here. The new backgrounds. So the new backgrounds, some of these are kind of cool. Some of them, like the desert, I'm not too fond of, but like the default is fine. The reworked is like the default, but has better contrast, and that's probably what I would do. You can also do classic SNES. Acid washed, similar vibe. I feel like a similar vibe to classic SNES in some ways, but more modern. It's what it feels like. It tries to kind of evoke the classic SNES while being modern. Like that's kind of like the vibe I get from those ones. And then you have the same background. These ones, I actually think this one's pretty good too. I like this one. But rework, can't go too wrong with that one. New backgrounds. Like I said, that one's hit and miss for me. I probably would just go reworked here. And then we get to the soundtrack. And this new to this version of the mod is You can select each track individually. You have the presets. You can do default, which is all the Steam. Steam default is pretty much how Uematsu originally composed them back in like 1993. It's pretty much the SNES soundtrack. It will sound exactly how you remember it. So, it's great. Classic stuff. The remasters, a bunch of these will have different presets. Some of these are a mix of different tracks like that, but you can change all these individually. AWR, Nostalgia, Overture, like this is the SKLC Overture. This is my personal favorite. I like this one a lot. I think that one's pretty good. There's a GBA one, which I don't know why you would want to do this one, because this one sounds terrible. It's the GBA sound chip. Tries to sound like one sounds terrible. There's the Pixel Remaster, which I think is just literally the Pixel Remaster OST, which is, it's okay. I think I like the Overture, like some of these other ones more, but if you liked the Pixel Remaster OST, that's fine. And Synthetic Origins pretty much is tries to be like the original track, that's tries to be, but like higher quality. It's like what the original tracks would be if they were originally MP3s instead of MIDIs. This one sounds great. I like this one. This one's like said, if you're a first time playing this game, I'd probably go with this one, just be honest. It keeps the same mood as the default, but this one's pretty good. Otherwise, if you want the more orchestral stuff, go Overture. That's what I would, those are my recommendations there. For this one, we're gonna go Synthetic Origin just because hey, I like this one too. But yeah, then you go to, this is where you do the interface stuff. So probably most important one here, menu UI, Sane UI all the way. Definitely do Sane UI. Probably one of the best mods for this entire game is Sane UI. Just straight up, this is one of the best mods for the whole game. Just go Sane UI, trust me. Don't worry about the rest. Fonts. So this is, like I said, a lot of these fonts are scaled down. Some of the fonts that were in the old version of this mod are gone because they weren't that good. There's some issues because you have to have smaller fonts for this game because of the way it works. So the old SNES font, I think, is gone. They replaced with this one, Chicago SNES, which is smaller, which is like the same font but smaller, so it doesn't have as many clipping issues. Kakugo is another really smallish font, which I think works fine. New Rodin's fine. I like the look, the look of, this one I think looks fine, but personally, GBA, that's what I used last time. That was pretty much the only, that was pretty much the best font to use in the old mod was GBA, because the other ones were all kind of too big. Besides default was always fine too, but GBA, and still, like I said, I think the GBA looks good. It has that nice kind of pixel font that, evokes classic, 90s RPGs. So I think it just fits with this game. And yeah, as I said, it looks nice. It doesn't have as many clipping issues. It's a smaller font and it looks nice. I think it works really great for this game, so I usually go GBA. That's when I pick. Battle fonts. I like the Final Fantasy 13. It makes damage numbers red, healing numbers green. There's actually another new one here called FM2, which does the same thing: red damage, green healing. It's more of a classic style. Sane UI or default. These are kind of classic numbers. I think those are fine too, but everything's white. But I like Final Fantasy 13 style. Dialogue frame, I personally like default just because you get the semi-transparent see on the dialogue boxes, and I kind of like that semi-transparent look, but right, you could do the SNES Classic and SNES Modern, those are options. Sane UI is my second favorite, but I do like the default dialogue frame. Pick whichever one you want, but let's go default here. Sabin Blitz, so the default has a bunch of arrows around him, which shows you, it's fine, but you can do minimalist, which just has an arrow for when you're pressing currently. Or you could just do Sabin's Chi, which just has the little glowy circles as you push it. But minimalist is probably the one I usually go with. That's one I recommend just because I think it's the best. Otherwise, if you don't want any of that, you can just go no Blitz UI, which you just have to trust yourself hitting the right things, which closer to the SNES experience. But I like the minimalist here. Esper's menu. I think I like default because the art's a bit bigger. The other two crop the art, so it fits in that little box there. But yeah, any of these are fine. I like that. I'll usually just stick with default here. There's also colored icons here. You can add more color to your icons, which I think look a bit nicer, but again, just choose what you like there. Sky textures. So there's the defaults. There's desaturated. There's Sane UI. and there's Grand Sky. They're all fine. Take whichever one you like. I think I've done Sane UI last time. Don't think I've ever done Grand Sky. It looks fine though. So, and then you got the outside world texture default, retexture. I think retexture is pretty much like default, but a better, like said, I think a better color palette. I like the retexture. Sane World, last time I played this game, I had an older version of Sane World, which, like I said, I liked that one quite a bit. Grand World, I think, is similar to Sane World. It's a different creator, but same idea. A lot more detailed world map. I'd do either Sane World or Grand World. We'll probably stick with Sane World this time, just because I'm more familiar with, like, that one. Display names. This puts names on the world map. If you have a hard time remembering which dot is which town or whatever, this could be a godsend. Like, this could be really useful. But if you don't need that, you can just keep that off. Snow textures, I like the default. Makes the snow white. The rest make the snow more gray. Brave Still adds a bit of gray to it. High res and PR style makes the snow very gray. I like default. Snow should be white, but that's me. Grass textures, the default is really bright for whatever reason. Lighter, I think looks fine. This looks like I said, the difference between default and lighter, because lighter is actually darker here compared to the default. There's balanced Brave Still, which I think is fine, and SNES makes it really dark. I probably wouldn't do that one unless you're playing with trying to do the classic SNES look. Balanced Brave Still is fine, or lighter. Like I said, I think either of those are fine. Title screen, like I said, you can go default. There's World Reborn. There's Advanced. White background. City, Spirit, and Still. And then it's called City of. I'm not sure why it's called City of, this called City. I wonder if this was a typo. These are all fine. I like I said, I'd probably go with this one. This one I think looks cool. It's like the Japanese box art, I think. But then you got the wallpaper. So default, you have like, it just looks like that. Then you got this one. This is the one I usually go with. You have another one with the version there. Like I said, 3 different versions of Tina. You have Lock there. Chocobo wallpaper and Cactar wallpaper. Like I said, this is a theme like the original SNES version actually did have wallpapers you could choose. This is a way to get that back, but you can have to do it in the mod. So yeah, just pick that. But yeah, then once you're done, just hit next here. And then we got Reshade. If you know how to install Reshade on your own manual, I just keep that off. Reshade is the thing that broke the old Atma Weapon mod. Like, the version of Reshade that's packed with it wasn't like compatible with Windows 11, because like I said, the mod was from the old version of Atma Weapons from like 2020. So the old Reshade just wouldn't work. It caused the installer to fail. So if you know how to install Reshade by yourself, I just leave this on none. Install Reshade like manually, and then choose which filters you want. I think that's going to be my recommendation there. Narsh intro. If you are going with Brave Still and you're using the beast mode style Magitech armor sprite, you probably want to stick to the monos because you see they have the little beast style Magitech armor. But otherwise, you got, like I said, default looks like that. High res looks like that. And if you're doing the SNES, there's also the SNES version, which is restoration. But yeah, if you're not, like I said, if you're not doing the beast mode one, you're not doing SNES, you probably want either on default or high res. Both of those are good. Drop shadow, I like default. Sharp just looks like they're standing over a pit that they're going to fall in. I think it looks weird. So I like default here. Defilter, go all removed. Go all removed. All but UI just makes the UI blurry. Default makes everything blurry. One of the biggest sins of the Steam version was the bilinear filter. The bilinear filter made everything look blurry. Just turn that crap off. Seriously, hit all removed, turn that off, throw it in the garbage. The bilinear filter sucks, okay? Just throw it away. Hit all removed, get rid of it. Auto run. Don't like it. It pretty much gives you like a permanent sprint shoe, except there's also like an icon on the bottom right screen with it. And it just kind of looks ugly. I just like, you can get sprint shoes really early in the game. No need to have a freaking mod that's on there. I just wear sprint shoes when I need sprint shoes. But yeah, I don't need that. I just turn that one off. The difficulty mod, there's a note from 4 days ago from Hawk. He says this is bugged. I'll have this on screen. The note he says there's a bug with this one. So just leave the difficulty mods alone for now. But yeah, the Celeste scene restoration. So in the original SNES version of this game, there's like a scene where Celeste gets hit by a guard. It's like 3 seconds. It's really short. This patches it back in. If you care about that, it's like I said, it doesn't change the game at all. It's literally like a 5-second scene. Yeah, Opera Time Fix, I'd recommend having this one on. High DPI DPI FIX. Probably more relevant if you're playing with a keyboard. If you're playing with the controller, it's not going to really matter too much. Then I'd keep these ones on. Dissidia weapons effects, enemy offset fix, 60 FPS chocobo airship. I'd keep those on. And that's the last page. So you hit next, and this gets you to the very last window. I would keep these two. It's like the defaults where it says no and no. Just keep those set to no. And the launcher resolution fix, definitely hit yes. You want that one on a yes, because this will give you better resolution options. And yeah, so just hit there and hit next. And then you have to hit this checkbox as I agree to have fun with the mods at my own risk. And then just hit uninstall. Depending on your PC, it'll take a minute or two. It'll only take me like 2 minutes. If you're an older PC, this might take closer to like 5 or 10 minutes. So just be patient. It'll do its thing. It'll open up like a command window at some point. And yeah, just be patient. It'll do its thing. All right, and when it's all done installing, you'll get this little window that says finish, and you just hit finish, and boom, you're ready to play. Pretty much the last thing you need to do now is go to your Final Fantasy VI folder, right? And then you want to go to the launcher. First time you play, you want to go to the launcher. It'll probably give you this ominous warning. Just hit more info, run anyway. You want to go to game settings. Make sure your resolution is set to what you want it at. Then you can go input configuration, go keyboard or controller. If you have an Xbox controller, it's literally plug and play. You can just plug it in, turn it on, hit controller, the button maps automatically. I had no problems with the button mapping on default, so literally about as plug and play as it gets. And then when you're ready, you can just hit play. And when you start a new game, you'll obviously have that famous walk intro sequence. One thing to note about this version is that if you're playing on a larger resolution monitor, the text can get kind of broken in this scene. It's literally the only scene in the game was a problem. It's just this 2 minutes here. Not much of a problem with 1080, but if you're on 1440 or 4K screen, the text will get broken in full screen. About the only way around this is to play in windowed mode. You could use a tool like integer scaler to put a nice black a border around it. And if you're like on a 4K screen, like you can pretty much make it that small screen 4 times larger with the integer scaler. Just use the resolution like 1440 by 960 for like if you're on a 4K monitor, and then use integer scaler for that scene. But again, it's just that one scene. The rest of the game, like in my experience, plays just fine full screen on large resolution monitors. So it's really just that one scene. So, but I will have the link to integer scaler in the description of this video if you're interested in using that. All right, when that intro's over, you will get be able to control your character, and you can also go into the menu and adjust your config settings. So, like I said, all the normal stuff here, like music, sound effect, volume stuff. This version of the game allows movement in 8 directions. Previous versions only had 4 directions. This one has no reason to really change it off of 8 unless you want a more classic experience, I guess. But battle mode, generally on wait. If this is your first time playing this game, definitely go wait. Active makes the game a bit, like I said, makes the enemy's ability to pretty much act while you're still in the menu. So I just do leave it on wait unless you're played a lot of these games before and you want the speed of battle a bit. Again, battle speed, lower number faster, larger number slower. If you think battles are going by too fast, you can slow it down, and vice versa. Same thing, battle messages. If you can't read it, you can slow it down or speed it up if you think you can read faster. So the big one though is battle window. So this is the UI for combat. There's 3 options here. Default, that's what I generally like, but we're going to talk about the tab and right and left. These are pretty much the same. It just kind of changes the orders of the command. So in this, if you have the same UI installed, it changes the appearance of this one quite a bit, in that the tabs now have like a more of a traditional ATB bar versus like how it used to be in the original UI. But yeah, so we'll get in a couple battles just to show you the tab left here. So yeah, we'll get in a couple battles just to on tab left, and I'll switch tab right to show you. Then I'll switch to default and explain why I like default better. So you see how they have those little bars that turn yellows that go across the screen? It's like a traditional ATB bar. Like that's what you get with Sane UI. That does not like that in the original version of the Steam. The Steam one, like it would just have their box would turn yellow as the battle progressed, rather than having like a traditional ATB bar. So the same UI adds that, and you can see the order of the commands there. Match text top left, defense on the right there. So if we go to now tab right, if we go to config and do tab right now, It'll be pretty much the same, but the commands will be in a different order. And like I said, so Magitech was on the far left last time, right? And Defend was on the right. So now, if we go to the battle, you see it's like the reverse. It literally just reverses the order of the commands. It's really, that's personal preference if you like this kind of UI, where you have this whole like bottom UI with the ATB bars and stuff. Like you might prefer like either left or right. But I'll explain why I prefer default here in a second. We'll do like one more here in this one just so you can see it in action a bit more. But yeah, that's his tab right. The other one's tab left. Like it just reverses the command order. Otherwise, they're pretty much identical. It's just the command order is reversed in tab right versus left. Alright, let's go. No, we have one more fight. Fine. So this is Tina. Generally, Magitech Missile's the most powerful of her attacks at this point in the game, so should probably be using that. The others don't have it. Only Tina gets that one. Okay, so let's go to config now. We'll switch to default because this is what I like, and I'll explain why I like this one once we get into a fight here. All right, you see how these you have these boxes just that are like rising, like said, rather than have a bar, it just has a rising box. But look how like when the commands are inputted, that goes to the bottom, and look how much cleaner that is. Rather than have this big box taking up a third of the screen at all times, it just looks so much cleaner. You don't have these boxes around the character portion. Use the borderless front-facing sprites. Like it just looks so much cleaner. And you get it just like that. I just think it looks way better because it's just super clean looking. So I really just like this one. When I'm playing this game, I like the default one. I like the rising box UI because it's just leads to a really clean looking UI. And I just think that's better. Lastly, if you want to make any changes to the mod you install, you can always uninstall Atma Weapon by just double clicking on it, and then this will open up the thing here and I'll give you the option to remove installation. Alternatively, there is option to has all the URLs here. This brings up all the URLs for every mod in this pack. You can literally just copy paste any of these URLs into your browser, and it will download. It'll take you to a Dropbox like a menu where you can just download it. Once you download, you just have to extract it, go inside and copy that folder and then paste it into your Final Fantasy VI folder. And then you just hit replace the files and it will update the mod. Like say you just hit continue. Yep, replace. There you go. Boom. And just like that, you just change which mod you have installed. Lastly, if you didn't like the fonts that are installed, it's pretty easy to change them. You just go to your Final Fantasy VI folder, go to OBB, and then go to font, and then you find this file that says Area Bold. This is going to be whatever you have installed in your thing, and like literally you can take any like true type font file, rename it to Arial Bold here, and then just copy paste and just drop it in your folder. But yeah, you can put just about any kind of font you want in there, and I do mean just about anything. Anyway, that's how the Atma Weapon mod installer works. So I hope you all have fun with the mods and have fun playing Final Fantasy VI. And yeah, not too much more to say on this one. If you're interested, I became a VTuber recently, and I did a full video where I kind of talk about like my experiences with that and the process behind that. And yeah, you can find that video down below. As always, thank you for watching.